Thank you. Thank you so much, my colleague, CS Agriculture, Medical Inturi, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Governor Kawira Mwangaza, Governor wetu wa Meru, all distinguished governors present in the room, including the whip and our chair of UDA and Embu governor. The principal secretary is present. I can see PS cooperatives, Patrick Lemi, and also PS Kompudo, and all the PSs, the senators present in the room, the members of parliament, led by Mheshimiwa Daud, MP for Imenti North, and all the members of parliament present, the women reps, all the deputy governors present in the room, all the members of the county assembly led by their speakers, the respective chief executive officer, CECs from all the counties represented, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Amjambo. Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais, leo ni siku muhimu sana kwetu sisi kama Wizara ya Kilimo na Wizara ya Ushirika, kwa sababu hii kongamano ni ya kipekee. Kwa sababu tangu mbeleni tumekuwa tunategemea kahawa kwa kusalishaji wa kahawa katika kupitia ushirika na estates. We've empowered our people. We have empowered Kenyans. Over 6 million Kenyans rely and depend on this value chain. Beyond production, there are others along the value chain who have benefited from this crop. And for that reason, Your Excellency, I want to sincerely and personally thank His Excellency, the President, Dr. William RUTO, and yourself for taking the first step. Given our conversation last year, this matter of guaranteed minimum return was actually about this value chain and the milk and the rest. So, as I begin my remarks, Your Excellency, I only don't know whether I have recognized all the PSs present. Yes. So, Your Excellency, we've had a conversation. Following your guidance, you remember we met in Nanyuki and we were directed to meet with the Council of Governors. We had a meeting in Mombasa. We left Mombasa, we reported in the summit in Naivasha, and later on we came up with recommendation. So, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, allow me to just come up with a context of the issues that we would like in the end of this conference to at least be able to guide our resolutions and be able to give a way forward, at least something that we can take home and utilize. Your Excellency, I'm delighted to be here in this coffee conference, a significant milestone in our coffee revitalization agenda. Today, I want to highlight the importance of coffee subsector and our commitment to strengthening institutions within the Ministry of Cooperative and MSME and also the Ministry of Agriculture, and by extension, the Ministry of Trade. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda envisions a productive agriculture sector powered by smallholder farmers along the key value chains with the overall aim of reducing the dependence on basic food imports and revitalization of export crops such as coffee. Under the better coffee sector is one of the cash crops identified for revitalization, as it has been a key contributor to the national and rural economy in terms of foreign exchange earnings, improvement of farmers' incomes and their livelihoods. Your Excellency, my colleague has talked about where we've come from. We had those days, we had a national production of over 130,000 metric tons, making this really a black gold for our people. Today, we dropped down to 34,000 metric tons. And the government of that time reviewed the situation and came up with some recommendations. Some of them have worked, some of them have not worked. We would want to pick on the success story and push the agenda of coffee production in Kenya. Your Excellency, in the year 2021-2022, there was a remarkable improvement in production where the total production increased to 51,852 metric tons. That is, the estates contributed 15,533 and the smallholder cooperatives produced 36,999 metric tons, representing a growth of 50.24%. This was attributed to, among other factors, provision of subsidized fertilizer through the new KPCO. If this trend continues, Your Excellency, the dream of achieving 200,000 metric tons within the next 4 years could indeed become a reality. Your Excellency, to put this to context, whereas the national average production in the country is estimated to be 2 kilos per coffee bush or a tree, in this county of Meru, and I'm happy Mheshimiwa Daud was able to introduce, we have farmers here in Meru. And if time allows, we could also make a visit, a farm visit to one of these leading farmers to just experience how this is happening here in Embu. It can be replicated in the rest of the country. We have farmers producing up to 35 kilos per tree. If that happens, we have 108,000 hectares of under coffee in Kenya. And if we were on average per acre we have about 500 trees. If each tree could even give us 7 kilos, we could achieve our target, our projected national production by just improving extension services, the farm inputs, farm management, and supervision of production. Your Excellency, a testament that if all the systems are effectively running in the coffee subsector, Kenya has the potential to be among the top 5 leading coffee producers in the world. Early this year, Your Excellency, the Ministry of Cooperative and MSME Development organized a benchmarking visit to Colombia. Being the 3rd largest producer of coffee in the world, provided valuable insight into the factors contributing to their success. Upon return from the visit to Colombia, I appointed a technical working group to study and report on the lessons learned from the visit. Your Excellency, we were accompanied by Governor Kaiga of Nyeri and Governor Ken Lusaka of Bungoma. The team made several observations and recommendations to guide our efforts in revitalizing the subsector. Allow me, Your Excellency, I know this will be coming up in our presentation, but allow me to just make a few highlights of the observations and lessons learned from that visit. Both Kenya and Colombia produce mild Arabica coffee, which holds great value in international coffee market. And this was highlighted by the visit of the Vice President of Colombia, who made a courtesy call to you, and we agreed on a way forward, including memorandum of understanding. I would be appealing to you, Your Excellency, if time allows, you also make time to benchmark and visit, and as you lead this sector, at least you can have the background and knowledge of how others have done it. It will be very good so that we are all talking from the same page. Your Excellency, in Colombia, farmers deliver parchment coffee to the National Federation of Coffee Growers of Colombia, commonly known as FNC, where quality evaluation takes place and farmers are paid immediately. In contrast, Kenya farmers deliver coffee cherry to cooperative processing facilities and have to wait for long periods for the cherry to be processed into clean coffee and sold and be paid. The second observation, Your Excellency, was the FNC of Colombia has established a strong financial infrastructure and human capacity base supported by federal government. Consequently, they face no liquidity problems in paying farmers. This stands in contrast to Kenya, where financial challenges arising from minimal or no savings by the cooperative societies often restrict timely payments to coffee farmers. In Colombia also, FNC operates purchase guarantee mechanism, ensuring daily parchment prices for coffee farmers based on empirical formulas and the New Year Coffee Exchange. This guarantees the purchase of all coffee produced. In addition, FNC run Coffee Price Stabilization Fund, meant to cushion farmers in the event of drastic price fluctuation. In Kenya, such structures and funding are lacking and ought to be considered. Your Excellency, in Kenya, coffee is paid in dollars through auctions and direct sales. However, the payment to farmers is made in Kenya shillings by marketing agents, cooperative societies, and the banks. Sensitizing these entities to pay farmers in dollars or equivalent of the prevailing dollar exchange rate at the time of payment to the farmer. Additionally, the timing of payments can be improved with the introduction of the direct settlement system, which is now under discussion, Your Excellency, or consider parchment advances and faster processing. It is possible from that experience that we can commit ourselves upon delivery of coffee cherry in our primary processing plants to assure the farmer of payment within 30 or 45 days. That is a possibility that we can discuss and agree, and we can guarantee farmers. Look at the dairy sector. When Meru Dairy committed to pay farmers on the 5th of every month, the milk production in Meru has become a product, a leader in the country. We could do the same in coffee, and we can do the same in other value chains. Your Excellency, Colombia boasts of robust coffee research and technology transfer system supported by 30 PhD researchers driving the research. In Kenya, the Coffee Research Foundation or Coffee Research Institute faces funding constraints limiting its services and technology transfer. We are still surviving as a country because of RUTO, a product of Coffee Research Institute. Without the research and science-led production, we could as well close shop as far as coffee is concerned. It is therefore my appeal to this conference, Your Excellency, that we make consideration in finding formulas and ways of funding our research institution. We need to bring a collaboration between leading research institutions like Seni Cafe of Colombia and the Coffee Research of Kenya. Colombia successfully implemented simple and patented technology and equipment throughout the coffee value chain. They are also supported by 1,500 extension officers. A fact, and I'm happy that, Your Excellency, today we have our governors. Our cooperative extension services has been devolved. It is possible that working together with our governors, we can ask our county governments to recruit and deploy cooperative officers and extension officers. And the common brand of Colombia, the Juan Valdez. In contrast, in Kenya, So Kenyan brand has not received widespread promotion, and the country lacks international coffee promotion prices. The local coffee consumption in Colombia is 40%, in Kenya is 5%. Your Excellency, through these insights gained from Colombia experience, I see an opportunity in the following areas, which I would like to propose that as we continue discussing, Your Excellency, that this conference make consideration. The strengthening of the farmers' institutions. We have come up with the farmers' entities like NACHU, National Coffee Cooperative Union, the KPCU, Grower Coffee Millers Milling, the Commodity Fund, The Kenya Farmers Association provision of certified farm inputs, tools and equipment. You remember the days, Your Excellency, KFA was the institution of choice as far as farm inputs was concerned. The strengthening governance structures and institutions by implementing robust accountability. We've had a serious problem, Your Excellency, in our societies. We have had big cooperatives like Odaya farmers, Mkulima farmers, all of them actually coming down because of the liberalization that we experienced in the 90s. This could have been the reason why we have lost our production. To address production in the country, the supply of subsidized farm inputs as fertilizer, agrochemicals, and lime ought to be prioritized. The new KPCU, KFA, and cooperative society could be used as special purpose vehicles to distribute crops, to distribute the farm inputs. We need to enhance the capital market authority. Our biggest, the elephant in the room, is the management of the sales and auction of our coffee. And we can introduce an independent agency, and Capital Markets Authority have played that role. They've done very well, and we look forward that this could be utilized. So, Your Excellency, as I go to conclude, we need to prioritize restructuring of Nairobi Coffee Exchange. This coffee exchange, Nairobi Coffee Exchange, Your Excellency, has no representation of the farmers, of the government, and there is need for us to make clear, conscious interest, take conscious interest on what happens in that coffee exchange. We need a regulator of what happens in that exchange. There is need to develop empirical formula for expert like Kipra, derived from international commodity pricing, such as New York Coffee Exchange, so that we can have proper price discovery. Structure the fund coffee research by maybe levying a percentage on the production so that we can be able to fund that program. The high indebtedness, an issue that Governor Cecily Mbarira has been pushing. The high indebtedness among our county mills, like Embu mills, Machakos mills, among others. We have also a mill in Baringo. I propose, Your Excellency, a waiver of all the interest accrued as an incentive to promote coffee milling at the county levels, and also complementing other bigger millers such as the new KPCU and others. Your Excellency, I also propose through the Cabinet Memorandum to address and finalize the liquidation of the new KPCU by meeting the outstanding debts so that we can up that mill fully in the hands of the farmers. I also want to propose, Your Excellency, that there is a working team between the Ministry of Cooperative, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Trade, and the Council of Governors to be able to take up this assignment, so that as you drive this agenda, we have a working team, because this agenda is agenda of Kenya. So, as I conclude my remarks, Your Excellency, the coffee regulations cannot go unmentioned. I want to thank you personally that you intervene on the regulations that control the auctioning and selling of coffee, and AFA, an institution under the Ministry of Agriculture, was able to take up that order, and now today we have licensed more traders, more dealers, more participants in our coffee exchange. Capital Markets Authority now are back, and we need to enhance and entrench their participation. The only issue I have with that bill, Your Excellency, that the Coffee Bill 2023 is before Senate, and I wish to make a few recommendations before consideration of its enactment. The Ministry of Cooperative and Development is conspicuously missing in that bill. 85% of Kenya's coffee is largely produced through cooperative societies and smallholder estates, which require heavy involvement of the parent ministry. The role of the Ministry of Cooperatives in aggregation, marketing, and sales need to be also considered. Milling, warehousing. We have through KPCU warehouses in Meru, in Sagana, in Bungoma, in Kisumu, Nakuru, and even Nairobi and Mombasa. Again, this could help the farmers. We do not have to spend more money in building other warehouses. The composition of the Coffee Board of Kenya, Your Excellency, we propose the reconstitution and re-establishment of the Coffee Board of Kenya. This institution, when it was alive and working, the coffee, there was an oversight, there was a supervisor, there was a regulator specifically to deal with the coffee value chain. It is our prayer and hope that we have representation from the National Cooperative Coffee Union and also 3 other members who are involved in coffee. One also in the coffee exchange, in the CRI, and the key institutions of coffee of coffee. So last but not least is recognition of other critical farmers-oriented institutions, and as I said, National Cooperative Coffee Union, a formation by farmers, and the National Cooperative Coffee Exporters, again an organization of farmers. As a nation that values entrepreneurship and community cooperation, the Ministry of Cooperative and MSME Development plays a pivotal role in driving economic growth, job creation, and empowerment. My ministry is committed to strengthening these institutions, promoting the role of the cooperatives, and supporting the coffee subsector. Together we can drive economic growth, create opportunities, and achieve sustainable development of our country. Your Excellency, before I invite you, among us, we have just received CS Moses Kuria, who is also my classmate. And I have a lot I can say. At least he has done a lot, very good things since university, and I think he still has a lot for Kenya. I want to take this opportunity to invite him here to make a few remarks. I also want to recognize the party leader of Jubilee, Honorable Sabina Chege, who is also in the room. Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria.